What's the best way to prepare to repeat a bar examination? This is a tricky question, and I think it calls for a sober reassessment of everything that a candidate has done before to prepare unsuccessfully for a bar exam. It seems to me that there are three basic components to bar exam preparation and success: an intellectual element, a physical element, and an emotional element. And a candidate is well advised to keep all three of these pretty clearly in mind. The intellectual element is the part that we're all really preoccupied with. The intellectual part of getting ready for and taking a bar exam is acquiring the law knowledge and the test-taking skills that are required to do a competent job on the task that is presented, the examination itself. But keep in mind that there is a physical element and an emotional element involved as well, and you neglect those two elements at your peril. The physical element means being strong enough to make it through the extra work that you're going to have to do between now and the exam to prepare, and then still have enough energy left at the end to complete the task on the actual days of the examination. And the emotional element might be the most neglected part of preparing for the bar exam of all. The emotional element means having some sense of hopefulness and optimism about the process that you're engaged in. To begin with, it's important to evaluate your scores. Suppose your scores on the multi-state and the written component are roughly the same, but not good enough to pass. I would evaluate that as suggesting both a lack of law knowledge and deficient test-taking skills. I'd be interested to know how much practice the student did in order to achieve that outcome. Now, suppose we've got a situation where we've got a student who's failed the bar examination by a fairly wide margin several times, despite having put in a great deal of effort and practice, and despite being obviously intelligent, well-versed in the law, and competent. Under those circumstances, I would recommend the candidate be tested for an undiagnosed learning disability with the possibilities of seeking special accommodations to level the playing field. Let's consider a different scenario with regard to exam scores. Suppose we've got a candidate who has scored high on either the multi-state or the essay section and low on the other section. Under those circumstances, I think it would be hard to argue that the candidate didn't basically know the law. And I would suggest that it would be much more likely a case of test-taking skills being deficient, and my prescription would be a fairly high level of practice. The most practical element of having to repeat the bar examination is time management. It's important to sit down with a calendar as early as possible and work backwards from the date of the examination. Remember, the most common mistake is to study too much and not practice enough. So I recommend that my students organize their calendar around systematic practice. In all of your practice, it's important to keep track of your mistakes. There's really only two ways you can make a mistake on a multi-state or an essay question. Either you can misread the question, or you can be ignorant about the law or about how the law is applied to a given set of facts. And you'll find that the same issues are tested over and over again in strikingly similar ways. So, as you make mistakes in practice, it's important to go back and annotate an outline with your weaknesses so that then you can go back and study it. Learn the material that you haven't tested well on. Remember, I'm not telling you not to study. I'm telling you the most common mistake is to not practice enough. So, as you organize your preparation around practice, the idea is to identify the areas of law that you're weak in and then go back and study those. Finally, at the end you return to practice again to further sharpen your skills and further draw the connection between your understanding of the law and your ability to apply the law to a given set of facts under testing conditions. At PassTheBar.com and our sibling site, CalBarExam.com, we can guide your practice from now until the bar exam. We offer materials on the substantive law, the essays, and the multi-state bar examination. The key is guided practice. You begin with a micro-review. As indicated by its name, the micro-review is not a comprehensive review of every detail of law. Instead, it's the big picture of law, based on the outlines from the National Conference of Bar Examiners. The idea is, as you practice, annotate this bare bones outline with the more subtle details that you learn through practice. The result will be your knowledge will increase in the most practical way possible. The master essay method focuses your attention on issue spotting, organization, and factual analysis. Everybody agrees these are the keys to success on the essays. So the approach that we take is to guide you through practicing many questions from every subject, applying a fundamentally sensible approach. Spot the issue, break it into elements, and then connect the facts from the pattern to elements of the legal analysis. This is the key to success on essay writing, just as it is the key to success to good writing in litigation practice. You can take a careful look at a redacted version of all of our bar exam materials for free at passthebar.com. If you'd like to get complete access, it only costs $99 a month, and that gets you hundreds of pages of written materials and dozens of hours of original video content. It's also possible to purchase and download individual seminars from the various subjects from all three of our main offerings, the Master Essay Method, our multi-state program, and the Micro Review. Take a look. You can also get tutorial services and audio critiques on your written practice. Good luck on the bar exam, and good luck in your future legal practice.